This is the Li-Ning Gamma, Li-Ning's latest flagship model that promises to be the lightest basketball shoe on the market. And after having playing basketball in it for a few months now, I can safely say that this is one of the craziest sneakers that I played in a very, very long time. Okay, so like I just said, this is one of the craziest shoes that I played in a very long time. And the craziest thing about this shoe is actually so crazy that I had a hard time wrapping my head around it. I know I'm kind of being coy with this, but I don't want the crazy fact of this shoe to distract you from how crazy this shoe is. Does that sound crazy? It does sound crazy. It's hard for me to explain, but I want you guys to appreciate this shoe for what it really is, because I really enjoyed playing in this shoe for a variety of reasons. So I will reveal the craziest thing about this shoe towards the end, because I only want to share with you guys what I love about this shoe first, so that you guys can appreciate them the way I did. So let me start by talking about what I think is the standout feature with the Gammas. The thing you're gonna notice first, not even when you first lace them up, but when you first pick them up, and that is hands down going to be the weight. Now my particular pair, which is a size 10, weighed in at just over 10.9 ounces, which is extremely lightweight. And I could see why Li-Ning calls this the lightest basketball shoe on the market. It reminds me a lot of two sneakers from the past. The first one being the Crazy Light, which I think was about 9.6, 9.8 ounces, something like that. And the other shoe it reminds me of are the Kobe AD NXT 360s, which if you've been following the channel for a while, that's one of my favorite shoes ever to play in. But it had a major issue, and that was durability. Not just with the outsole, but with the materials, which is what made that shoe so light. But these Gammas, I gotta say, I'm extremely impressed with how these have held up despite being so lightweight. If you just take a look at my pair, which I've been playing in for a month and a half to 2 months, other than some wrinkles and some creases, which is just natural when you wear a shoe, there is no signs of significant wear or tear, which blows my mind. I mean, there is nothing here to tell you that this shoe has been played in heavily for months now. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. And on top of that, the performance benefits you get from such a lightweight silhouette, it's all there. You're gonna feel fast, you're gonna feel quick, you're gonna feel responsive. But I also don't want you to think that this is not a durable shoe in terms of wear and tear, how it's gonna hold up quality wise, because like I said, there's no signs of wear on this upper, and that just blows my mind. Now, aside from the TPU material on the upper, the tongue is also extremely lightweight, and I really love what Li-Ning did here. It really fits around the top of my foot extremely well. There's also zoned padding, which means that the laces aren't gonna dig into your foot, but they're not gonna feel separate from your foot as well. So everything's really close, and that's the next thing I wanna talk about, the fit on this shoe. I mean, this shoe is a snug fit, but I don't want you to think about that in a negative way. When I say snug, I mean that this shoe is going to feel as close to a second skin-like experience that you could get on the market today. I mean, it's been a while since a shoe has fit me this well. I went true to size, and I had no issues with the fit whatsoever. I thought the length was on point. The width, while a little snug, it's not distracting whatsoever. It didn't feel like I was being suffocated. So if you have an extremely wide foot, because I consider myself to have a wide forefoot, this might not be for you already, because usually people with extremely wide feet aren't looking for the lightest, fastest shoe on the market. So for those people, those select you, I would say maybe skip this one or go up half a size. But for everyone else, go true to size, and you're gonna get an experience that is extremely close to your foot, which again is going to feed into that quick, responsive, and fast feeling that the Gammas provide. Another elite aspect of the Gammas is the traction. Now, if you take a look at the pattern, it's a full-length herringbone pattern, which is great. We love herringbone. It's a tried and true formula. But if you take a look at how it's composed here, it is a little flat. Usually with my traction systems, I like the outsole to peak a little bit. I find that gives me a little bit more grip. But to my surprise, this is one of the most elite traction systems on the market today. You're gonna hear that word a lot, elite, on the market today. I mean, this outsole gripped any floor that I was on extremely well with zero, and I mean this, zero break-in time. So if traction is the utmost importance to you, this is the shoe you are looking for. This is an A1 S-tier elite traction system, and it's about as close to a 10 as you could possibly get. Okay, so now let's talk about the cushioning that is in the Gammas. Li-Ning uses a full-length boom system here, which if you haven't used boom, it looks and feels very, very similar to another cushioning system with a very similar name. I'm gonna let you guys fill in the blanks there. All you have to know about boom is it's explosive, it's springy, it's responsive, and you're gonna feel extremely agile in this system. But if boom, full-length boom wasn't enough, Li-Ning also added, if you take a look at how this shoe is constructed, a extremely large carbon fiber spring plate, which is wedged in between two layers of boom, and that is just going to create an extremely explosive setup here. I truly felt like I was a jackrabbit, just like flying down the court. It felt springy, agile, quick, fast, and when you factor that in with the lightweightness of the materials, as well as the extremely responsive traction setup, this is a shoe that I would akin to a Formula One car. Like, it's quick, it's fast, it's agile, you're gonna zip around the floor on the court. It's fantastic. That's all I have to say about it. And again, it fits the theme of the shoe perfectly. Now, speaking of carbon fiber, if you take a look at the heel cup here, there is an external carbon fiber piece, which I think is really cool. Now, Li-Ning could have just put one big piece here, but instead they kind of shaved off certain areas where it wasn't needed, and that makes this shape extremely efficient, while at the same time allowing you to get the support you need in this area. And with that efficient shape, it's going to reduce the weight as well, which again fits in with the theme of the overall shoe. But there are other areas of support as well. If you take a look at the forefoot on the lateral side, there is a little kind of plasticky or rubbery piece that goes up onto the material, and that's gonna help you be contained when you're doing like V-cuts or step backs. And overall, this shoe, you sit pretty low to the ground in these. Like I said, it's quick, agile, and responsive. So you're not gonna feel like you're teetering over the edge at all, which is unique because you are still getting an explosive cushioning system. Usually the word explosive and cushioning means you kind of sit a little bit higher. That is not the case with these. That spring plate allows Li-Ning to reduce the ride height in these. And again, you're gonna feel extremely close to the ground while explosive at the same time. And don't you worry, the support system here is robust enough to keep you contained at all times. So if you can't tell by now, I absolutely loved playing in the Gammas, and there really is only one word I can use to describe these, and that is elite, because every aspect of this shoe is elite. The lightweightness of the shoe, elite. The cushioning system, elite. The traction, elite. I mean, everything about the Gamma is elite. So if you're looking for my stamp of approval on playing basketball in these, you got it. I mean, if you get this shoe, you're gonna be happy for all the reasons I said. It's quick, responsive, agile, explosive, lightweight, durable, breathable. There's not one bad thing about this shoe, but there are two things that I think Li-Ning can improve on. And the first thing is somewhat of a minor issue. The insole on these is extremely tacky. And what I mean by that is when you put your foot in the shoe, your sock will get stuck and caught on that insole because it is tacky, which means that your sock can kind of wrinkle up under your foot, which isn't ideal. So you're kind of gonna have to finagle and adjust it to get a smooth bed under your sock. I know it's kind of hard for me to explain and kind of visualize, but just know that you're most likely gonna have to finagle and adjust it before you fully lace these up. So that's one thing that is not annoying about the shoe. It's just something you're gonna have to live with. But the second thing that is crazy about this shoe, and is what I was alluding to earlier in the video, which I called the craziest thing about this shoe that I had a hard time wrapping my head around, that would be the price. Now, the price of the Li-Ning Gamma, it is $500. I didn't know the price of this shoe until after I played in it extensively, because I just wanted to look them up. I was curious. I go, wow, this is an elite shoe. How much are these going for? When I saw the $500 price tag, it almost changed how I thought about this shoe. But then I remembered, I loved playing in these. It's an elite shoe. Every aspect of it is elite. Now, the Li-Ning Gamma is elite. That's all you need to know. It's elite. Everything about it is elite. It's exquisite. It's one of the best performing shoes I've ever played in. And the value of that is really gonna come down to you. So I am almost at a loss of words here. $500 is absolutely insane. But at the same time, the other side of that coin is the Li-Ning Gamma, performance-wise, is also insane.